Welcome to the 2020 Auckland Girls Schools Basketball Draft. My name is Josiah Mama, and I am your host today. I am joined by the 4 GMs of the 4 teams that are going to draft tonight. We have up top, we have Mr. Nick Mailau. Introduce yourself, Nick.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Nick, women's coach at Diocesan Girls School, and very excited to be here today. Thank you, Josiah.
You're welcome. Linden Moore, our next guest, who is actually streaming from the United States of America. If you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Linden. I am a master's student at New York University studying sports business, and I am currently focused on helping build brands and spread the word about women's basketball in New Zealand through my blog.
And Mr. Tim Dennis.
Hello, my name is Timothy William Dennis. I am the GM of this team. I have watched a lot of games of basketball. This is hard, man. I don't like to, I don't like to brag or anything, but I've coached a bit. Yeah.
I see. In your office, you're quite busy during lockdown.
We are at the moment. We're seen as an essential workplace. Don't want to give away too much, but there you go.
Okay, fair enough. Looking sharp, sir. Looking sharp.
Thank you.
Mr. Sione Mama, if you can introduce yourself.
Kia ora, my name is Sione, and I coached girls basketball at Perrott-Hunt College the past 5 years. Yeah, excited for this draft.
We will now move on to our draft. We have an expert panel of GMs. It's going to be very interesting to see who goes on this draft board. Obviously, with the success of the boys draft and the engagement through that draft, I'm very excited for this one. Just a couple questions before we start. Mr. Tim Dennis, your team gets the first pick. What are you looking for to start your team? What's your first building block to make your team successful?
Well, I wanna make a team that is just defensively gets out and gets after it. High scoring team. I think the way that the game is going now, if we can get players that can commit to defense and also to just be athletic and get out and play. That's my spell. I want to kind of look at the future as well. I don't want to it's a very interesting thing. Like, you kind of have to look at resumes of what happened after they finished school, and sometimes you can't do that with all the athletes because they've just finished or they're about to finish or they're not finished at all. So yeah, I'm really looking for a fast team, get up and down type thing.
Nice. Team Nick, you unfortunately ended up with the last pick in the first round. There's plenty of talent to go around. What are you looking forward to, and who are you looking to build your team around?
Josiah, some lesser GMs would think of getting the last pick, as a hindrance, but I'm looking at it as a blessing. I get those back-to-back picks. It's quite simple.
Great attitude.
I've decided, following the results of the men's draft, I will be picking only recent players because I'm just trying to win the fan vote. So I will not be drafting anyone over the age of 19 years old.
Interesting strategy. Linden Moore, what's your take on the draft? And you take the second pick. You have a strong position. What are you looking forward to in this draft?
So first of all, just a bunch of these girls that are coming out of the secondary schools and premier tiers, there's loads of talent, and that we've seen in the pipeline, national and high school wise performances. And so in team wise, I'm kind of going for a little bit more of the fundamentals, a couple high scorers on the draft board here, as well as some pretty good defensive people and who can just really have a good overall vision and some athleticism thrown in there, and also a solid leader.
Sounds good. And GM Sione, in your boys draft, you took a very offensive-oriented team, a fast team. Are you looking to do the same in this draft?
Yeah, have you guys heard of UConn women's basketball? That's pretty much what I'm going to create. Just the New Zealand version.
That's a high standard to chase. I wish you all the best.
It's nice to see you there, Gino.
Well, you can't.
Before we start the draft, I'd like to explain the rules. And before we explain the rules, I'd just like to touch on how sharp some of our GMs, all our GMs look there. I didn't get the memo, so I came in a white shirt. My bad. Our draft order on my screen, as you can see, will go from Team Tim to Team Linden to Team Sione to Team Nick, and we are going in snake order. So Nick will turn into the first pick in the second round, and then he'll turn back into the last pick in the third round, if that makes sense. The rules are we can pick players between the years that played in the years 2015 to 2020. So those are the players that are eligible for this draft. They must have played Auckland Schools basketball, just to make sure we have that clear, because in the boys draft, there seems to be a lot of questions about why we couldn't include people outside of Auckland in an Auckland Schools draft. That took a while to drill in, so just to make sure. Any other questions, GM?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Can we start?
So yeah, if there's any complaints or discrepancies, just let me know, and we can do a little research on the Lacey Lowdown database. I want to put the clock on. Mr. Tim Dennis, you are on the clock. You have 30 seconds to make your first pick, starting now.
All right, guys. Here's the thing. All right. I want my team to be led. I don't want stats. I want leaders. All right. And this person that I'm going to pick with my first pick is a born leader. She has revolutionized the what exactly is an active defender in Auckland basketball. And with the very first pick, Team Tim will select Taylor Dalton from Carmel College.
Damn you! Oh,
I believe in this. I believe in this leader. I have seen this firsthand. Okay, I have seen this girl straight up call people out. You are not on defense. Why are you not here? People that are older than her, I've seen her do this. And that's the type of leader that I want with my team. So Team Tim selects Taylor Dalton from Carmel College.
An amazing first pick. Mr. Mailau, are you surprised at all that Taylor Dalton was not the first pick?
Look, all I know is that when my pick came up, if Taylor Dalton was on the board, I was taking her, whether I had the first pick, the second, the third, or the fourth. So, I'm a little bit disappointed that she's gone this early, but really it's no surprise. She's a talented player.
Awesome. We will now move on to the second pick.
Here we go.
That will go to Team Linden.
Okay, so that's Tim took the words right out of my mouth, and when I heard leader, I knew that was over. So, with the second pick, I'm going to go with a sharpshooter coming out of Rangitoto this year. She is going to be headed over here to the States. Another really good leader, very vocal, and she shoot the lights out, Hannah Wentworth.
Ooh, she was right there on my board too. Great pick.
Where do you want to put her?
Point guard. Yeah, so she's done quite well for herself. Just love watching her come through the ranks and trying to remember exactly every stat that she's had. But she's just been lining up the boards, and she's also gone through the Stephen Adams camp rotational as well. So done some really good elite training, and making the switch in high school that she did to play against some of those better girls. Just always see her working in the gym.
Awesome.
She started at Orewa, if I'm not mistaken. Which is crazy.
So we start with a couple North Shore picks. Tim, you're part of the New Zealand age group women's setup. What does Linden get with this pick at number 2?
To be honest, when I was in the system, I wasn't really. I mean, we knew of her, and she was very, like she said, she could shoot the lights out. And man, we were very stacked at that. I mean, when you bring up the kids from outside of Auckland with Charlize and those ones, but I mean, you can't go wrong with that pick, right?
Awesome, nice. We will move on to the third pick from Mr. Sione Mama, Team Sione. Who are you going to go with? The clock has started.
I'm going to switch it up a little bit and go with the forward.
No.
And she's a New Zealand rep and also did well on the 3-on-3 team last year. I'm going with Sean Robart.
A big pick.
What a great pick.
Thoughts on that, Mr. Nick Mailau? This is we knew she was going to go in the first round somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Look, for me, if Taylor Dalton wasn't there and Sean was there, then that's who I was taking. I was trying to get Sean. Just a big, bruising forward, powerful, strong, but not not just that, she's skilled. She can put the ball on the floor. She can shoot from the outside. I mean, Sione's just got a great all-round player. So, can't blame him for that selection.
Nice. Any other thoughts on the pick that Sione has gone with, the first forward of the first round and the whole draft?
I think in this draft it's going to be really interesting to see where the bigs go, because there aren't a lot. So I think it's a great idea for him to get in early.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, when you have Hannah and Taylor on the board, like you kind of have to go early. But I mean, you can't go wrong with Sean at all.
We will now move on to the fourth pick, Mr. Nick Mailau. The clock has started.
Look, with Taylor and Sean off the board and Hannah, and with these back-to-back picks, I think I'm going to try and play it smart here. I know I said earlier that I'm only going for recent players, but with this player still on the board, I think I have to grab her. So I'm going to take my first guard, and I'm going to go with Tiana Clark out of Westlake Girls.
Tough. A decorated high school career at Westlake. Thoughts on this pick? Linden Moore, New Zealand representative Tiana Clark.
Honestly, I haven't seen her play as much. I've heard that she's done some really good things, some good scoring ability. I saw her, I believe she was with Harbour for a little bit, and I saw her play some good defense there. So, well, not a ton of experience watching her. From what I've read, she's a solid pick.
What does she bring to Nick's team, Tim?
Oh man, like what doesn't she bring really? Like I've seen Tiana Clark light up people for like 40 points, like as a laugh. Like she's I mean she can score, she can get out and run, she can she's a great pick.
She's one of those players that feels like that she's been around forever too, right? Like she played since year 9, like at the high level. So so we finished the first round, and now we move on back to you, Mr. Mailau. You start the second round with the first pick. Who are you going to go with?
Oh man, there are a lot of options here. And the thing is, looking at the board, I have, I've got to wait 7 picks till I get another pick, and I'm worried that this player is going to go in between those picks. So I'm going to take her maybe a little early, but someone who just has all the talent in the world. And I think that if, I pair her with some really strong players and a really good coach, I'm going to get a lot out of her. So I'm going to go at my center position. I'm going to go with Rashawn Smith from Birkenhead College.
Birkenhead.
Not bad.
Good choice.
Rashawn Smith, a powerful forward, multi-skilled from Birkenhead. Sione, your thoughts on this pick?
Great choice. Can't go wrong with that. I had the honor to coach against Rashawn a few times in senior A's and also coach her, and she's a good character as well for the team. So I think if Nick has some good leaders around her, she'll do well for that team.
Linden, what does Rashawn bring in terms of her ability on court?
I'd say just pure physicality, and able to get around, and able to get the ball and get it in.
Any other comments, Mr. Tim Dennis?
Good team person. Good person to kind of uplift the group. But very interesting that she went so early. No disrespect, but I think I do see where Nick's coming from. So it's good.
Sounds like a consensus agreement with your pick, Mr. Mailau. Now we move on to Mr. Sione. Team Sione is now on the clock.
Yeah, I'm going to fill out my 2-guard spot with the person who does a little bit of everything. She's currently playing at Fordham University, if I'm not mistaken, in New York. I'm going with Zara Gillings from Westlake.
Oof.
Damn.
Yep.
Zara Gillings was number 6. A high-quality guard, lots of experience at the rec level and high school level. Linden Moore, what would you say about Team Sione's pick at number 6?
I'd say he's got a great leader. She hustles every play. She's pretty threat from scoring too. I've actually had the chance to see her at Fordham, and she's just flourishing. So definitely good hustle, and also just really good, and the coaches even said it too, a really solid team leader and team person.
Good to hear. Mr. Mailau, have you had any experience coaching against Zara?
Not coaching against her, unfortunately, or fortunately, but yeah, I've seen her play, at the rep level and at the school level, and I mean it's kind of crazy. At one point, Westlake had Tiana, they had Zara Gillings, like all on the same team, and like it's no wonder they did so well for so many years. So, I expected her to go around the spot, so that's a great pick.
Great pick.
Tim, any comments from you before we move on to the next pick?
I mean, most decorated athlete in the draft, to be honest. Like, she's the only one that's ever kind of put on a Tall Ferns uniform, I'm guessing. Like, and so, I mean, you can't. I mean, great pick.
Speaking about great picks, we move on now to Team Linden. Let's hope you make a great pick with your next one. You are now on the clock.
Okay, so with the 7th pick, I'm going to go with someone that has been, she's been on the world stage a couple times, did some rep teams, and as well as the Basketball Without Borders camp. So she's been a staple for Jody Cameron over at St. Mary's College in Penonsby. So I'm going to go with Jazz Conley-Fulu at the forward position.
So we go with Jazz at number 7. Sione, you said great pick. What's your thoughts on this pick at number 7?
Great young talent, like Linden said, competed at the NBA Basketball Without Borders. She was at St. Mary's. I believe she played for their senior prem team from when she was a junior. She used to give me headaches, so that's a great pick for Linden.
Mr. Marlau, any comments against coaching against Jazz?
Again, I did coach against her in our first year at Senior A's. We played St. Mary's. Her and her sister, just a force. And I've seen her play reps for Harbour, and she really is just a woman amongst girls out there on the court. Just a bully, uses her size, so physical. I think she probably went exactly where she meant to go, or where she was supposed to go.
Tim, someone that you had on your draft board?
Jeez, it was actually the one I was going to choose next, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Yeah. But no, great pick.
Speaking of making your pick, it's your turn now, Team Tim.
Okay, guys. Now listen, we got to go back here. Okay. So for the 8th pick, I needed, like we've been taking the bigs out there, and Jasmine was definitely in my next one. But for the next and for my one, who's same thing, been on the world stage, had experience at a high level, the under-19 MVP. I have to go with Emmy Shearer from Westlake.
That's a good pick.
No doubt, one of the most athletic threes that is out there. Can get up and down, can shoot the ball, can finish in transition. Has a motor like no other. She just keeps going and going and going, and that's my 8th pick, and that's Emmy. So yeah, so I'm teaming her up with Taylor, getting a good, and they work really well together. And have for multiple years for Harbour and for the Junior Tall Ferns, and yeah, that's me.
Linden, what does Tim get? Before we say that, Tim's been part of some of the women's junior age setups. This kind of looks set up. Some of these picks, so some inside scouting, inside knowledge.
Hey.
But Linden, what does Tim get pairing up Emmy with Taylor?
Mate. Relax.
I was going to say, awesome pick, Tim. She was going to be one of my next 2. I saw her play with Harbour last year and teaming her up with Taylor, and just absolutely incredible. She can definitely score. I got to see her. I think she dropped probably mid-20 points on the Otago Gold Rush last year. And so when you get the ball to her, she's done what she can go. She's just a really good team player, and teaming her up with Taylor, it's unstoppable.
Sounds like Tim's got himself a team so far. Speaking of which, Tim, you're back on the clock, which is crazy that you get to add to this this backcourt of scoring talent.
Okay, listen, this is hard for me. Okay, it was really tough, this one, but I had to look at my team, and I have to look at what we need, and what we need right now is we need an inside presence. We need somebody that's going to demand the ball. We're going to demand and be able to play off the ball, okay? And somebody that will be able to just bring some toughness. With Emmy, you get some toughness on the wings. You get some toughness with Taylor. So with my next pick, I'm going straight to the Isle of Tonga, okay? And I'm getting me, Mele Latu from Auckland Grammar.
Oh.
Where would you like to play her, Tim?
I'm going to put her at the center position, and we're going to play some small ball on the outside, but she's going to be our rebounder. She's going to be that hustle that I need. Mele Latu, straight out of Auckland Grammar, straight out of South Auckland. Mele Latu.
Great pick from Tim Sione. What do you think about how he bolstered his front court?
That's a great pick, and it makes it even better that she's from Tonga. So that just speaks for itself.
And Tim, Nick, what do you see on court from Mele? What will she bring to the talented backcourt tandem of Taylor and Emmy?
Man, much like Jazz from St. Mary's, Mele is just like physical, strong. She plays tough. I got to see her play a few times for Auckland girls, and just a beast inside, and really anchored those really talented Ags teams from a couple of years ago. So. A really good small ball center, I think, for Tim.
Yeah, Tim's right. She really expanded her range in her last 2 years in high school too.
Funny story about Mele as well. She played up until year 13 without glasses. She had no glasses.
She was
needed glasses
the whole time, and she was still killing.
And she was still killing. And then when she, when she kind of got contacts and sorted it. No, I don't think year 13. It would have been like year 11, I think. And then I was like, Mele, where's the glasses? I forgot them at home. Sorry, coaches. Bloody hell, it still would kill.
As a commissioner, I've never coached girls basketball. I've watched a lot of girls basketball, but I don't have the knowledge of these four experts next to me. But just looking at somebody, like, especially Tim's team right now, like, is it Taylor, she's the one that scored 100 points in the game or something? She scored something crazy or something like that?
Definitely scored a lot of points.
Maybe not 100. It might be exaggerated. It might feel like that. But she had a big game, didn't she?
She had like 56.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I think.
I remember I think this was a couple years ago. This is at regional tournaments with Carmel, and she played a whole week of netball, I'm pretty sure, and then came on the last day for basketball regional tournament and dropped like 50 points and then 60 points back to back.
Yeah, that's what it was. I have to do my source check, but I'm pretty sure she had like back-to-back 50.
Just crazy, yeah.
We were in India, okay? Here's a little thing about we were in India, okay? 2:00 in the morning, I get a message. Tim, can you please send me all the video of this player, and this player going right and left? Like, I'm like, it's 2 in the morning, Tim. Well, like, chill. And she learned that though. She learned that from her mom and from like, that dog. Like, don't get it, just get after it.
Yeah,
she's next level, man. That one.
Shout out Taylor.
Yeah, I know. Sweet. Now we move on to the 10th pick. Team Linden, you are now on the board, on the clock. Sorry.
All right, so with the 10th pick in this draft, I'm going to go with a forward. You saw her play with the Breeze last year and doing her thing over at Hutchinson Community College. So I'm going to go with Keely Tinney.
Oh, good pick.
Awesome. That's a great pick, man.
Tim, what does Team Linden get out of Keely?
Man, with Keely, you get probably the best team person you could ever get. She's the glue. She is that glue player that like will just get along, and she'll smile it up, and she's a harmony person. She will bring the harmony and synergy to your team. I think it's a great choice. That's why my first reaction was like, oh, because she's great.
How does she fit into your team, Linden? What does she bring in complement to Hannah and Jazz?
She's just, from what I've seen with her, I haven't, unfortunately, like most of these, I haven't been able to see them in person. But having seen the her time with the Breeze last year, it's just really down there. I know she and just Jazz can make a good team.
Awesome. That was a confident pick. we now put Team Sione on the clock. Team Sione, who are you going to go with at number 11?
I'm going to fill in my center spot and pair someone up with Sean. She had a decorated high school career. She was also on the junior 12 front. And I remember one day I was on Lacey Lowdown and she had a stat line of 30 points and 30 rebounds. She was at Ottawa College too, so a little under the spotlight.
Oh,
so
no.
Katie, forgive me if I say her name wrong. Katie Diakbai.
Dang.
Great pickup.
Some big reactions to that pick. Sounds like a bit of a steal. What does Sione get out of that pick, guys?
Man, she I saw her play once for Ottawa, but going back and doing some research, and yeah, again, shout out to Mike Lacey. She was putting up like just the craziest stat lines. Like I saw one, she had a triple double, and it was like 31 points, 22 rebounds, 15 blocks, or something like that. So and yeah, for a couple of years there, that Ottawa team had some really good players with her and a few of the other girls. So yeah, that's a really good pick at that spot.
Nice. Sorry, Tim. Carry on.
Sorry, I coached against her when I had a year at Prims, and yeah, she was a tough cover. Great anchor when you play zone. Like when you're playing a 2-3, great anchor, can just like hold it down for as long as you need her to. And yeah, on the perimeter, not too flash, but when it came to like defending bigs, she was next level and had height too, man, and knew how to use it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds like you've bolstered your front court probably. You've bolstered your front court early, Sione, and it sounds like it's paid off. So good job. We're going to pass it on to in the first round with Mr. Nick Barlow. Team Nick, you are now on the clock. Who are you going to take at number 12?
Again, I really want someone, someone who has a really good motor, someone who can handle the ball, shoot the rock, someone who's really going to be a great leader and bolster up, the Rashans of my team. So at my second guard spot to go with Tiana, I'm going to go with, from 100 different schools, I'm going to go with Rionne Brown.
Good pick.
Good pick.
And in fact, I'm gonna have her down as coming from. Let's go with Avondale, so that I can save my Rangitoto picks for later.
I have to consult with the with my my team over here and just make sure that's a rule, by the way, guys. We can only pick 2 players from each school, so you can't have more than 2 persons from one school. And also, just to everyone watching, we have guard, forward, center. I know traditionally those have been the positions, but we kind of just put that in place just to kind of give us a good grid and a good map of how where we put people. But we know the game has changed. You can call them guards, you can call them wings, you can call them forwards, or whatever you want to call them. So just to keep that in mind. But remember, 2 players from each school. Let's go into analysis of the first round. We've got some talent coming out of the first round. What I'm really excited about is there's a lot more talent to come out of the second round. It shows how deep Auckland Schools talent has gone. Tim, your comments on the first round. Who do you think? Obviously, you're going to say yourself, but who do you think came out on top from the first round?
Oh man, I think look at Sione's team. I could see. Oh, I think everybody's team actually. Like looking through them, I'm like, oh, actually, they're all very strong Harbour contingent at the moment, which is expected. I mean, they always kind of have a great structure in terms of girls basketball and some great coaches out there. And I think when it comes to coaching, it's going to be kind of the same because they have a good core base out there. But I think, I think right now everyone's got 3 players. I think you could, if we played 3-on-3 right now. I would give it to Tim. Like I'm just being honest.
That would be a dope 3-on-3 tournament. Like man, that you know what? One thing is you can look at these squads. You can see some a little more experienced than the others, but just like the overall talent in terms of you guys got really balanced squads. I think like we got. But, you guys haven't really just put on an offensive squad or a defensive squad. You guys seem quite balanced. So.
I think also, just to add something, I think if this was 3-on-3 TikTok, I think Team Nick would definitely.
Hey, that's the game now, man. This is modern basketball.
If we're looking at the selection based on Instagram followers or social media followers, I think Nick's almost in the millions. Nick's being strategic about this. We go on to your analysis, Linden.
Yeah, I'd say because, like you all have said before, a very strong Harbour contingent. None of these players, I'm going to be honest, take me by surprise for going this early. And definitely some exciting talent you really see, like you said, the depth that the Auckland schools have, and knowing, just seeing the roster, seeing the talent and the reps and the junior tall firms, we know there's more to come, but so far, I think everyone, like you, again, to repeat, like, we all have really balanced teams, so it's looking good.
Cool. Sione, your analysis going out of the first round, you happy with your team?
I think like Linden said, none of the picks you can go wrong. You can't go wrong with any of them. And I think, everyone said this, but every team has a good balance. Everyone has a big and a good lead guard that they can rely on to run the team. So it should be some good more picks coming along.
Nick, your final thoughts of the first round?
I mean, yeah, as expected, I think I've put the best team out so far, and I'm just really excited to see how my team develops going through this draft. But you look around at all the players that have been selected so far, and there's so far quite a heavy emphasis on players that have graduated in the last 1 to 2 years. And not just that, but you have players like Taylor Dalton, Emi Shearer, Keely Tini, who have played for the Harbour Breeze, so not just rep basketball, but have played in the NBC, and even girls like Sian and Rionne who have suited up for the Auckland Dream. These are girls who are still, who were in their late teens and were playing at the highest level of competition of women's basketball in the country. Absolutely. So, it just shows how much talent, is coming out of women's basketball in Auckland.
Sounds good. Some great picks, some great analysis, some great comments from you GMs. It sounds like you guys are in agreements that you guys are all doing a good job so far. But this is where GMs make their money. The second round, the Draymond Greens, we can go on and on with second round steals, the Monte Ellis's and so on. Who's going to win the second round is really the question right now. And the second round, when you bulk up your team, is going to make the difference when we put this out, the public and people's teams. Who are they going to think that's going to take this? So really excited to see this. As we talk about this, Team Nick, you are now on the clock. You have the first selection of the second round.
Yeah, taking a look at the board, there's still so much talent, but with the spot I'm in, it's really hard to, even though I get the back-to-back picks, I've got to wait, for 7 more picks to go before I get another crack at it. So, it's a tricky decision. There's a number of different ways I guess I could go, but I think I'm going to take my first player from Counties Manukau, or my first player from Southside, and I'm going to go with Teresa Ngata from Aorere.
Ooh.
First reaction from you, Tim. Is this someone that was on your board?
This is, I think, this is the Giannis. This is the Giannis of the draft. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I honestly think she was on my board and she was coming up too, and I'm kind of pissed off at you, Nick, that you did that, because I know she lies under the radar, but holy crap, this girl can play, yo, for real.
Yeah. Jenny, you're surprised she fell into the second round?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. She was actually my next pick if I was able to get her. I coached her for Counties Manukau, and Tim's reaction was pretty much, it. So
what does she bring? What does she bring on the court, Jenny?
A little bit of everything. Like Tim said, she's like a Giannis, on the court. She would grab a rebound for me, dribble down the court, go coast to coast, and get an and one layup. And she's also like a very good leader, and it's underrated part of her game. Not very vocal, but she does it in her action. So that's a great pick, man.
What's crazy about Teresa is that basketball is probably not even her first sport. Like, she's an incredibly talented netball player.
And a volleyball
player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember reading back, a year or two ago, she came back from a netball tournament and then flew away for a volleyball tournament and was also involved in the New Zealand program for basketball. So this is just, to sort of compare it to Giannis, I think is pretty accurate, because she's just an athlete in in every sense of the word. So I'm pretty happy to pick her up at this spot.
She's an awesome person too. Like Sione coached her, and I would have a couple interactions with her. But she's super nice, super bubbly, perfect for a team like that. So great pick. We now move on to Team Sione. You are now on the clock.
I'm going to fill out my point guard position. This is a girl who, is a quick guard. She does a little bit of everything, and she played Prems from year 9 to year 13 at St. Kitts.
Oh,
So I'm going with Summer Motufoa.
Great pick.
Cool. Let's talk about Summer. Again, someone with a lot of experience at the high school level and the Premier level. What does she bring, Nick?
Man, she is just like a really good, just all-around guard. Like a great ball handler, really quick off the dribble, can shoot the ball, can finish at the rim. And I think an underrated part about this, we'd love to get all these players together to play. I managed to watch Summer play a few weeks ago at the AUT and Auckland University Tertiary Challenge, and man, she's still balling out. She's still killing it. So, this is a player, like Sione said, a lot of experience, not just at high school, but rep level. So I think, great pick.
Also represented Samoa last year at the Pacific Games. So.
Nice, international experience. The last 2 picks, 3 picks really, have been outside of the North Shore. Tim, Linden, are you surprised at all that we're finally moving into the Auckland part of the selection?
No, and I'm going to be honest, because I haven't, because I've only been following really the high school girls for probably about a year in total. I've just starting to hear some of these names now, but from the sources and people I've been talking to, and just the names I've been seeing around on the wire, I'm not surprised at all.
Tim, it looks like you're doing some really big analysis right there. That's why I love Tim, man. Tim takes his job seriously, and it looks like his assistants in the back are doing some hard work too. His assistant GM, and
we're getting there, mate. We're getting there. We're just seeing where our spots are. So, I'm putting the analysis in. Our crack team is getting it done. So just so you know.
Sounds good. All right, so we finish off with Summer at pick 14. Now we move on to Team Linden. Who are you going to take at 15? You are now on the clock.
All right, so for pick 15, I'm going to fill out the second guard position. I'm going to go with someone with some very high-level experience. Another Massey High standout in Shauna Povey.
Yeah, good pick.
And then repping, I believe, played with the Auckland Dream as well. Got some experience there with like some of the bigger players. So repping here on camera.
I see the shirt.
I don't really know a lot about Shauna. I know that Massey had an insurgence of talent come through, and she was one of the lights, the shining lights that came out from here. I had a great WBC year, but that's what I know about her.
Nick, any knowledge on Shauna?
Yeah, I've seen her play a couple times for Massey, and I mean, what Linden said pretty summed it up. But she's got a really great resume, like, a couple of New Zealand age grade teams and some tournament teams at regional and national tournaments and stuff. And she was a part of those Massey teams that were really strong for a couple of years there, in the late part of the decade. So I think sort of where she got picked is probably where I saw her going before the draft.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we move on to pick 16. Tim, second round, you get back-to-back picks. Who are you going to start your first pick with?
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what. This is tough for me, this one. This is a real toughie, okay? But, I'm going to have to, man up and get it done. I'm just trying to get my graphics guy. I'm just waiting. Are you ready? Yeah, okay, he's ready. Okay. Okay, I believe that I may have not a Teresa steal. Okay, I don't have a Teresa steal. I have to be honest, but I do have a steal nonetheless. All right, with the 16th pick in the draft, Team Tim selects Iliana Tuwaiti.
Good pick.
Iliana Tuwaiti, the high scorer from Auckland Grammar. When she's motivated and pairing her up with Taylor, who can, Taylor will whip you in shape and lead by example. We'll play her. We're gonna try and play her we'll play her at the 3-4 with Emmy, which will take away a little sting. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think Ileana on defense can kind of go to sleep sometimes, but having somebody like Emmy that's always kind of like having her back and pairing her with Mele would be really good as well. So that is my pick.
Nick, you someone that was on your draft board?
Yeah, I was hoping Ileana was gonna get down to me at number 20, but like just such a skilled player, man, and strong. She can handle the ball. She can shoot. And yeah, I think Tim is, as like he said, he's put her alongside players that'll, help maybe address her shortcomings. Not that there are many, but again, this is a player that on those Auckland girls teams to be the leading scorer. When there are players on there like herself and some of the other players that were there, like, man, that's it's a strong pick, and I'm a bit gutted that she didn't fall to me.
Tim, you get the fortune of going back to back. Who will you have joining Ileana?
Now, there's a reason why I moved Elite to the 3 spot. All right, and because I said earlier we're playing small ball. We're getting out, we're running, and that was my when I went into this, and these people are dropping to me, and I was thinking, oh, okay, I'll take this one, and now it's kind of all coming together. But here's the last one that I'm going to put on here. Okay, with the 17th pick, I am going to go with Tessa Talo Tomokino.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Damn.
Holla for $1. We're out here getting the. She's just going to be the perfect compliment to the, especially to Taylor. Taylor can score. I need her to just run everybody 72, like just the whole game, just 74 feet, just run, and I know she'll do that. So that's my Tessa, my pick is to Tessa.
We had some big reactions there. Linden, what was your thoughts on this pick?
I was gonna say absolutely fantastic, Tim. She was actually gonna be my next one, coming in for 6th man, but just really echoing what everybody said. She can just really get it done and get her and pair her, and the people you're pairing her with is just absolutely incredible.
Sounds like Tim did some great. You got to congratulate your assistant GMs and all your workers behind you. Number 18, Team Linden, you are back on the clock. Who are you going to go with your second round pick?
So for this one, again, it was kind of tough. I'm going to go with somebody I'm going to go back to the North Shore, and I'm going to go over to Westlake Girls, and for the 6th woman, I'm going to do a Jordan Maddox.
Oh,
good choice.
Yeah, I just think, because again, she's had some real good age group experience, and she's, just dynamic in all areas. So I think she's definitely, I'm kind of surprised that she fell down this far, but really glad she was still open.
And you're going to put her in your 6th woman spot?
Yes.
Thoughts on this pick, Tim Dennis?
Man, like just a hard worker. Like that's, she and the thing with Jordan also is that she's consistent. Like you know what you're going to get out of her. She'll always play defense. She'll always be really kind of. She'll do what she's very coachable, is what I'm trying to say. And it's a great pick.
Nice, awesome. We now move on to pick 19. Your second pick of the second round, Team Sione. You are now on the clock.
I'm going to go back to Mags. I'm going to go forward, and I'm actually going to move Sean to the wing and get her and Zara out and running. I'm going to go with someone who dominated in her high school career, especially at nationals in her senior year. She's currently playing college basketball in Texas. So I'm going to go with Trinity by.
Oh, man. Damn. That's my sleeper right there.
Switch her and Sean. Oh, no, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it does the same thing. Last name? Oh, Bell.
Bell.
Thoughts on this pick, guys?
Very good pick. Extremely good pick.
I like her. She's come over to the gym and worked out with Sione a lot, so we've seen her come in, and just looks like a hard work, like a no nonsense, just do what you got to do, get it done, and just seems really crafty for what she does in her position too, undercover crafty too. Not something I expected. She had a couple footwork, she had a couple moves, and she used some footwork in some of the one-on-one games and small-sided games that Sione used. And I've seen her in real games too, playing for counties. Someone like really solid, just a solid contributor. So, any other thoughts on Trinity going at 19, guys?
Just a tough, just very, very tough cover for anybody. She's crafty. She can score. She's got a great touch around the rim. She's awesome.
We now move on to pick 20 and Team Nick. Although a long wait, you now get back-to-back picks. Who are you going to go with? You are now on the clock.
Man, I've got to be honest. A lot of the players I was hoping would fall down were taken just in these last few picks. Like Trinity was someone I was really looking at, and same with Jordan, along with Eliana, of course. I'm gonna fill out my my forward spot. I'm gonna go with someone who is still incredibly young. I believe she's only year 12 this year. But again, I'm looking at the long game, and I'm looking at someone who can just score. Her game is almost KD-like, with her ability to shoot, ability to finish and handle the ball. So I'm going to go with, coming out of Epsom Girls, I'm going to go with Florence Dello.
Oh, that's good.
Good pick.
Sione, I know your team has had a lot of trouble covering Florence. Your thoughts on this pick?
A great pick. Like Nick said, a great young talent. She's just a big guard who can do a little bit of everything. I remember Nick was hosting some summer workouts late last year, and she was playing against boys and giving them work. So that's a great pick right
there. Florence, one thing I find interesting about her, she'd have 20, 30, be killing a team, but and she's smiling and laughing the whole time. She's just having fun.
Yeah, she has fun with it.
Yeah.
What really stood out to me about Florence, because obviously I've mostly seen her at a high school setting, because we've played Epsom Girls every year since I've been coaching at Dio, and I think the difference in her game between when she's playing at eggs and she sort of has free license to do whatever, shoot whenever, handle the ball whenever, but then seeing her suit up for Harbour rep teams and for New Zealand, you get to see her sort of part of a team, and I think you really showcase all of her skills. And like for her size, she is she's a good 6'6", and can handle the ball like a guard and shoot and stuff. I think putting her next to the likes of Rihanna, Tiana, Teresa, older girls to sort of mentor her, I think it's going to pay off.
Nice. Sounds like a good pick. You get the pleasure of going back to back. Who will you have joining Florence?
Man, this is the tough one. And there's a lot of players on the board, still on my board, that I could go with here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, I guess technically my second Mount Albert pick after Rihanna, but I'm going to go with a guard at the 6-woman spot, and I'm going to go with Jada Manasseh to round out my team. Brings us, just great all-round ability. And I think, we're looking at someone like Sean trying to stop her. And I think Jada's going to know all the tips, all the secrets. So we're going to put her there at my 6-woman spot.
What does Nick, thoughts from the other GMs? What does Nick get in Jada Manasseh at the 6-woman spot? Someone to fill out his team.
She's a solid guard. She can play. The good thing about Jada is she can play both the 1 and 2. I had the fortune of coaching her a couple of years back, and she can do a lot of things, especially in pick and roll. She's great in that. Her and Sean at Mag's pick and roll was almost unstoppable. And Nick's got a couple of good forwards to pair up with as well. So I mean, that's a tough cover right there, and a good pick coming off the bench too.
Nice. Sounds like you've really solidified your backcourt, Nick.
Yes.
We now go on to Team Sione at pick number 22. Who will you use your last pick on to fill out your 6th woman?
This is a tough one. I have a couple of young ladies who are on my radar right now, but I'm going to go with the one with a little more experience. She's currently a part of the Auckland Dream program. Her and her sisters led their botany team to prim grade.
Oof.
And she does a little bit of everything. She's a big guard, so I'm going with Sophia Hedawini as my
Great
sixth
pick.
woman.
Get the spell on that.
H-E-R-E
Oh, H-E-R-E. Like that?
W-I-N-I.
Like,
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. And analysis on Sophia. That was a bit of a reaction, Nick. I know she's given both your teams a bit of trouble. What do you guys get out of Sophia?
Oh man, it really was that 6-woman pick was, for me, it was between Jada, Sophia, and Sophia's sister Ngapapi. And yeah, when you talk about sort of the same sort of things I said about Florence, you could say about Sophia, someone who has size and length, but sort of scores like a guard, can handle the ball, can shoot, and yeah, her and her sister were really the driving forces behind getting botany to the Prem level, which, I mean, when we talk about schools coming out of like East Auckland, to get to that Prem level, I think is like just really extraordinary in a grade that is dominated by, North Shore teams. So yeah, I think Sione really couldn't go wrong with that pick with Sophia.
I remember watching her before coaching boys games and marking your guys' teams. Her and her sister were trouble. They were tough. We now go to pick 23, your last pick. Linden, who are you going to fill your center spot with?
So with the 23rd pick, I'm going to go with somebody who's got a fairly good size highlight reel. I would say with Jess Morris.
Oh, good
Yes,
pick.
Morris.
Good pick.
Any relation
Westlake.
to James Morris? You guys know?
Yeah,
that?
it's her younger sister. Yeah, his younger
Jeez.
sister.
Basketball family. Thoughts on that pick, Nick?
Oh man, just a standout for Westlake, Jess Moores, and for Harbour. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but I think Jess played for the Harbour development team in the NBC. The Harbour,
WBC, yeah.
what are they called? The Harbour something.
Harbour Zephyrs.
That's right, the Zephyrs, the Harbour Zephyrs. So, yeah, just a great talent. Comes from a great family as well. I believe that, of course, older brother James is off playing college basketball, and now Jess Moores, and I think they got a younger sister as well who's also coming up. So,
Basketball's in the
great.
blood, eh?
Oh man, a great pick to round out Team Linden.
Nice. We do now end it. Tim, Team Tim, you started the draft. It's only right that you end the draft. Who are you going with at the 24th pick?
Now, being the last, okay, I can kind of rattle off a few names that, I had on my list, right? A couple that I thought need a little bit of shine, okay? I think Kula Baldry, she was on my list, who was who would have fit my team amazingly. She's a big and she gets out there. And I was looking at my squad and I do need some size, but that's not really the theme of my team right now. My team is to stop everybody before they get over half court. That's my job, all right? There's Jane, also from Auckland Grammar, that I had on there. There was even Georgia Perrott-Hunt, who I think deserves some shine. Another one that I think deserves, and if there was a seventh, this person would have been on there, would have been Tabitha Jenkins from Rangitoto. One. And if I needed some size, I would have gone with Katelyn Noyer as well, who played in 2015. All right, but with my pick,
people knew that. I don't think some of these people knew that. If they knew that, she definitely would have been on the board.
Well, I don't know if you see this blazer that I'm wearing, mate. I'm a professional. Okay, these Gucci frames that I'm wearing. Look at this. Look at these Gucci frames. Okay, straight off the rack, mate. Okay, but for to keep with the theme of my group, all right, I need to just be rough and get it up in there. And my last pick, the last pick of the draft, goes to Rionne Papa.
Oh, great pick.
From Mount Albert Grammar. Now this, and I can speak from personal, she won me, and I know that it's a team game and yada, yada, yada. She won me 3 straight games with just being smart and just knowing the rules. And that's why teaming her up with a Taylor that can score, with an Ileana who needs to be racked in sometimes and say, hey, this is how we're doing it. Mele, who also can be like that, giving her Rhiannon would also enable me to not have to coach as much as I need to be. I could just be like, cool, hey, Rhiannon, you go sort those two out. I'll sort these ones out, and we're fine. So that's my pick. My very last pick is Rhiannon Portal. Also, tournament team in her year 12 and 13 year.
It's a great pick.
For nationals, secondary school nationals.
It doesn't sound like we need any more analysis on that. Tim really covered everything on that one. And Tim really put it out like she was one of the first picks. Great job, GM.
I bring the fire, guys. That's what I do.
I think right now some of the GMs are scratching their head going, I didn't know Katelyn Noyer finished in 2015. I think she's definitely,
would have had that.
Yeah, she's
definitely a lot of players left off.
Yeah, lots of talented players. I can think of a few that definitely didn't make this board. But there's only so many spots and only so many selections you guys can make, and you guys have the tough job of doing that. That's why they gave you guys a hard job, right?
Yep.
We now move on to coaches, and because you had the last pick, Tim, you get the first pick again with your coach. Who are you going to go with to lead this team?
Are you sure you want to do it that way? Because I feel like that's, I'm happy if we go the other way.
If you want to go up the first to Linden, I'm happy for Linden to take the first pick.
Well, here's the thing. This is where I'm coming from. Okay, listen. There are some coaches that I have worked with and that I respect, and if I choose one over the other, it will not be fair. But if you want to, no. I will relinquish and I will go to Linden, and then I will come last.
So he's trading it pretty much. Just a reminder, the coach has to have coached Auckland Girls School at the senior level, so Prems, Opens, Senior A.
Yep.
So Linden, you have the honor of choosing the first coach.
All right, so say thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. So for this coach, I think those of us in the know pretty well who she is and what she's done. She's a very accomplished athlete herself. Assistant coach for the Tall Ferns, now development officer with Harbor, Jody Cameron. She speaks for herself.
I mean, we don't really have to say too much about Jody Cameron in terms of coaching, but combine her with all that talent, although she probably does get to coach this much talent all the time with New Zealand age group teams. Your thoughts, Sione, on Jody leading Team Linden?
That's a great choice. You can't go wrong with that at all. I remember Tim a couple of years back took me and Nick to be like apprentice coaches at his junior Tall Ferns camp, and Jody's the head coach of that team. And me and Nick learned so much from her. She's intimidating too, so she would ask me and Nick questions and we'd look at each other like, oh snap. But I mean, it's just that fear factor that she has that will control the team. So.
And interestingly, Linden has paired up Jody Cameron with her daughter. So good with Keely. So a good mother-daughter connection there. But yeah, like Sione said, Jody's a great pick. One of the things that I learned from Jody in our short time with her, she said to me, when you're running trainings as a coach, stand in the spot, stand where you would like in a game, like stand on the sideline in the exact spot, because then you get used to seeing things from that angle, and then you know what adjustments to make. So that's something like just the tiniest little thing, the tiniest little nugget that I still use today. So yeah, I think Jody was probably going to just be the consensus pick there. So Linden's got a steal, getting that pick traded to her.
Tim's kicking himself right now.
I am.
Now we move on to Team Sione. You get the pleasure of selecting your coach now.
I want to swing the opposite way and go with a young, enthusiastic coach here. His style of play suits, what my team is structured to be. He's raised a girls program from the dead and taken them to where they are today. And he's currently wearing a checkered suit. Going my guy, Nick Mailau.
Hey, that's a great pick.
That's a great pick.
That's a great pick.
Great pick.
Tim, your knowledge of Mr. Nick Mailau and his ability to lead this very talented Team Sione team as well?
Listen, we're talking about great leaders here. Okay,
How do I meet this thing?
We've got Jacinda Ardern. She leads our country. Okay. And then there's Nicholas Mailau, who's exactly the opposite of that. What a horrendous pick! I do not know what's going on here. What kind of organization is this? When we're getting this young upstart, all of a sudden, gets a little bit of success. Ooh, all right. That's disgusting, and
he's a young coach. He knows.
I do not support this, Sione. Okay, I do not support this.
Do I have to check an under the table deal, Tim? Is that what I'm worried about as commissioner?
Hey, I actually thought he was gonna talk about me, but then when he said young, I was like, far out, man.
Sione, what do you think you get out of Coach Nick coming in? As you can see in New York, Mr. Dennis isn't happy at the moment.
Like I said, he's a coach who loves to play, fast and up and down game, and he's young, he's enthusiastic, he relates well to these young players, and he's got that social media connection. You know what I'm saying? Like he was talking about at the beginning.
All right, we move on to Team Nick. Unfortunately, you can't choose yourself. So who are you going to choose to lead your team?
Oh, man, after those cutting words from Tim, I had to scratch him off my board as a potential coach. You really don't want someone like that leading your team. So, I like in my coach's pick, we think about Brad Stevens at Butler, who was a great young coach and moved up to the next level to coach in the NBA. And I think this coach is ready to make that step up. So, of course, I've got to go with Sione Mama here.
Oh my God, what is going on?
And I've got to
here?
go with someone. I feel like I don't even need to rationalize my pick, but I will since I got the mic. This is someone who has coached a number of the players on my team. I think that his style of play is going to get the best out of my players. This is someone who has a wealth of experience at a number of different levels. And when I'm thinking of someone he's going to get my guards, Tiana, Rihanna, and Jada, he's going to put them in the right spots. He's going to make sure that Rashawn gets to the places she needs to be, and Florence and Teresa are going to thrive off that. So this was a no-brainer for me. So Sione, I loved your pick, and I hope that you feel the same about mine.
I appreciate the love.
What deal did you guys strike before the draft to make sure you guys were part of this thing?
I swear to God, this was all right now.
There's no deal. It's simply excellence acknowledging excellence.
We're moving on. Team Tim, who are you picking with your coach?
I feel that only myself and Linden are the serious GMs here.
I know. That's why I'm so disappointed.
Bring back Kevin. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Bring back Kevin Gann. Okay.
Oh my God.
At least he's he's a professional here. Okay, if I look at my list right now, I need someone that will be able to reel in some of these not personalities, but these creative type of athletes. All right, Ileana, very creative with the ball. Rhiannon, very head smart, very IQ worthy. Melia just needs some basic. This is what you need to do. Away you go. Taylor's another coach on the court. Tessa's coachable. Emmy's just doesn't need much. I'm going to go with Justine Reed because I believe that Justine Reed knows the game so well that she'll be able to, and she also has the acumen to kind of put the game in a very simple place for some of these ones, but also go deeper and get as deep. It was really hard between Justine and Bronwyn Davidson with me.
Ooh.
One of those two, and if I was going to have an assistant coach, that would be my assistant coach. But obviously, I had to go 1-1, and I know that Bronwyn would be like, yeah, I totally kind of get where you're going, and same with Justine. But that would be my one. Yes.
I really like, outside of the two coaches from Team Sione, Team Nick, like we couldn't have picked two better coaches outside Justine and Jody. But yeah, Sione and Nick bring that youth and bring that new energy and the new wave. But Team Linden and Team Tim, you have the most experienced women's coaches you could get in New Zealand, pretty much.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Justine is part of the New Zealand age group setup as well. So.
3-on-3, I think.
3-on-3.
Yeah.
And both coaches come from and have amazing basketball blood as well. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, I mean, there's no one really, and Linden has probably experienced this. I don't think there's really anyone in New Zealand more passionate about growing and promoting and expanding the girls' game than Justine. So yeah,
shout out to Justine, especially on Girls Got Game, the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Always got an update from Justine. Always see an update on my timeline. Always check it out.
Yeah, shout out to her because I have the notifications on for whenever she posts something. I know it's going to be prime, and she's really been a game changer for everybody.
That's one thing. Like might be a bit of a broad statement, but like with girls basketball, especially like Tim, you're part of this as well, and you two, you young coaches, but Tim, Justine, Jody, I feel like in the girls game, especially coaches, it's competitive, but like the knowledge dropping and the sharing of knowledge is, I feel like a lot more open and a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but like girls coaches just seem like, I don't like, this is a really broad statement, but like more of like a fraternity, like, you know, like, I don't know what you guys think about that, but like when I think of Jody, I think of Justine. When I think of Justine, I think of Ron. When I think of like you guys, when I think of those ladies, I think of Tim. When I think of Sione, I think of Nick, and so on and so on. You know what I mean?
I think that there's sort of like an unspoken, like acknowledgement that girls basketball in New Zealand really deserves a lot more shine than I think it gets. And I mean, definitely the men's game is promoted so much, and that's because, you know, we have guys like Stephen Adams and Shea Illy and guys who are killing it on the international stage. But a lot of people don't know that, like, every year when we send players off to college, we usually send a lot more females than we do males. And I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, you know, speaking of the WNBA draft that happened yesterday, I think it's only a matter of time before we start getting some players going through. And you know, I think that the name that obviously jumps to everyone's mind is Charlize Ledger-Walker. And I think that really, you know, speaks to, especially like you look at this list of players, and it's not just players from 2015, 2016. There are a lot of players who have played very recently and are still playing college ball in the States. Even someone like Tim mentioned her, Georgia Perrott-Hunt, who has played junior college and is now playing Division II basketball, I think. You know, that's someone who wasn't even selected in this and definitely could have been, but that really gives you an indication of the depth that, you know, is coming out of girls basketball in New Zealand.
Speaking of Perrott-Hunt, that's another coach that really missed out on these lists.
Ange.
And I'll tell you why. It's because Team Sione and Team Nick were too busy scratching each other's backs, mate.
Bro, what the heck?
Disrespectful, okay?
I had Nick on my list the whole time, guys.
Man.
Shout outs to Ange.
Great.
Okay?
Damn, man.
And I also think when we do a poll for the players who didn't get drafted, there's going to be some names.
Oh, yeah.
Some names.
Really interesting for the flip, like first round there was lots of North Harbour girls, and then it kind of flipped, and like Auckland really took over in that second round. Like you guys, most of your picks came from teams outside of the North Shore, so it was quite interesting to see that.
It's a good sort of comparison to or contrast to the boys draft, where it was so dominated by Harbour players. And then in this one, like you said, we've got Teresa from Aorere, you know, we have Summer from St. Kitts, we have Shauna from Massey, and that's, you know, those are just 3 picks back to back. So I think it's cool to see that the depth is not just concentrated in 1 or 2 places, it's spread out.
My biggest thing too with Sione's team is Sophia over Napipi, mate.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But the thing with me, I feel like recently, because Pip doesn't play, so that's kind of how I looked at it, where Sophia's still on the Auckland Dream program, so that's the way I viewed that pick.
Okay.
But yeah, you can't go wrong with Pip either.
There are definitely some names.
Darcy Finnegan was one I had on my list.
Yeah, I had Darcy.
Yeah, she could play. She could definitely. St. Kitts, right? She was the guard.
Yeah, 2015,
She was nice.
I had Taylor Tuala as well.
Yeah.
Aria.
And another one that I was thinking about, but I used my mag ones up, was Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky Fiatal.
Fiatal.
She's
Fiatal?
Yeah.
Katelyn Burgess is another one.
Katelyn Burgess.
It goes on and on, man. Like there's some other ones you could have done. But no, thank you so much. This was great, man.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
We'll wrap it up.
Linden.
We're running out of time, but first of all, thank you to Tim for joining us from New York, from his office. Thank you so much. Linden, thank you for joining us from California, right? Right now, from Cali. It was great having you and Tim as our GMs, international GMs. Thank you again to Mr. Nick, Mailau, and Sione Mama, the most biased GMs I've ever seen in my life.
Hey now.
All right.
But listen, that was a lot of fun. These teams are super talented, and this was fun and it was really cool. But now the next challenge is to make this happen in real life, right? Like everyone's in the city right now. It's not really an excuse. So let's try and make this happen. I hope everyone enjoyed the draft, and thank you for tuning in. So appreciate it big time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Stay safe.
Peace. See you guys.